So, what is the best Marvel trilogy? Welcome back to Origami Snowman. I should have said that first. I just was excited because I just finally finished watching Guardians 3. I'm not kidding. Disney Plus is still open right in front of me. I just finished watching it. It's been out for a while, but boy, oh boy, did that suck. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy a lot. I went into that movie with no expectations. I had no idea who any of these characters were. I was like, there's a talking raccoon and a tree. Okay, that's awesome. Whatever. I don't care. But Guardians 2 was very funny. I had some great moments. Yondu's slow motion whistling arrows scene where the whole ship is blowing up around him. He had the super tall mohawk. I loved that. There was just a lot of great moments. Guardians 3, the whole time, I'm watching it thinking, James Gunn wishes he was directing a different movie right now. That's how it felt. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn myself around in my chair if there are any weird creaking noises. It's not my bones, it's my chair. Because I realized in the last video I was facing my bookshelf, where the TV is sitting, and it had a weird echoey sound to the volume, which was the only problem with the noises making in the video. What am I talking about? Guardians 3 was a disappointment. It brought the entire trilogy down. It really, really did. Because here's the thing. If if Guardians 2 had been like a 10, a solid 10, you could make allowances for 3 being a little crummy. But in the same way that like Return of the Jedi being a little bit not nearly as good as Empire Strikes Back, it didn't bring down the entire trilogy. You can say, well, you know what? Yeah, they just needed to wrap it up. This was not a wrap it up kind of thing. This was rushed, but not in a let's wrap it up kind of way. This was rushed in a contractual obligation kind of way. The musical transitions weren't as good. The songs weren't as good. I mean, the songs were fine, but like you opened up with Creep, an amazing song. Radiohead is incredible, but you didn't even you used a lesser a lesser recording of it. And it just, I don't know, man. The visuals that were happening while the song was playing didn't really lend itself to the appreciation of the music. I, I'm just gonna say it was a hard movie to watch. It took me 2 sittings, and I played Sudoku most of the time it was on. Nothing made sense. It just was hard to. It was hard to watch, hard to look at, hard to follow. Not hard to follow. Just I didn't care. You know, yeah. I don't know. It was a departure. It was James Gunn saying, "Can I be done with this now?" Whatever. Fine. He does have a lot of other stuff going on with DC. Sure, why not? But it wasn't good. Normally, I would have said that Guardians of the Galaxy was the best Marvel trilogy. But now, having seen 3, I can't say that. So let's talk about the different trilogies. There's Iron Man, obviously. They got, 3 Iron Man movies. Captain America, Thor. They were very, very smart not to give Hulk a trilogy. Great character, just not, it really doesn't need his own movie. Ant-Man, that got a trilogy. We'll talk about that in just a second. I don't even remember what the other trilogies were. There were the Avengers movies. There was Avengers Age of Ultron, and then there was Infinity War and Endgame, which were a 2-part, so I'm going to count that as a trilogy. Now, let's talk real quick. Iron Man. Iron Man 1, great movie. It's fantastic. Super fun. As far as origin stories go, I liked it. All in. Iron Man 2, it was not the best follow-up, but not terrible. People like to say it was terrible, but I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen it multiple times, so I can gladly, or easily say that it's not terrible. If I'm willing to watch a movie, multiple times without somebody pressuring me to, then yeah, I don't, Captain America, that first one, that was okay. Not my favorite. Captain America is not my favorite. Thor, that first one, terrible. So bad. Kenneth Branagh fell in love with Dutch angles and just shoved him down our throats. I'm not kidding. It's not a good movie, you guys. There's a couple of funny moments. There's a couple of good laughs. But what? Like, nope, not good. Not a good movie. Captain America 2, oof, let me say, Winter Soldier was great. It was really good. It was better than anybody expected. I think we all got a little blindsided by Winter Soldier. And then Civil War, rounding out the trilogy, so good. Like Winter Soldier and Civil War were amazing. Some of the best Marvel stuff out there. And then Thor, again, I know I'm mixing things up. Yeah, I'm mixing things up a lot. Thor, Dark World, people say, oh, it's one of the worst Marvel movies. Is it though? I mean, it was, but then they kept making Marvel movies, and they kept making them like kind of like worse and worse. There's some really lousy Marvel stuff out right now, but Dark World has, yeah, it does. It has some really funny moments. I can't remember the actress's name. It's all gone out of my brain. I'm trying to rush this because I have to go to work here in a minute. But Darcy, the intern, she was so funny. I thought she kind of like, I think she realized I'm not gonna be in too many more of these movies. Let's while the camera's on me, let's get some attention. Let's make the most of our time, and she did. She did a great job. So Dark World has its moments. It's just not where the camera's pointing most of the time. Thor and Jane Foster, they weren't interesting. They were just, I mean, that whole relationship is flawed and boring. Pardon me. Then we didn't even talk about Iron Man 3. Some people are, that's a corny movie. It's silly, but kind of like in a decent way. It's watchable silly. Rhodey is great. It's probably Rhodey's best movie. Tony is, I loved seeing him with his panic attacks, him dealing with PTSD from New York. I really liked that. It made him feel so much more relatable than in either of the other two movies. Because in Iron Man 2, you kind of don't like him. He starts out very full of himself, even more so than in Iron Man, like the original. So I would say of those three, because I'm gonna piecemeal these together. So Thor, the first two movies, the first two Thor movies are garbage. Nah, I'm contradicting myself. They're not good. They're just not good movies. They have redeeming qualities. They're just not. I won't watch them unless somebody's like, hey, I haven't seen any of these Marvel movies. Let's watch them all in order. That kind of thing. Now, Ragnarok came very close to saving Thor. Ragnarok made Thor funny and interesting in a way that he just wasn't. And I think because it was such a departure from the tone. He was very funny. Taika Waititi recognized Chris Hemsworth had a lot of natural talent as a comedian, and he thought, well, let's let him be funny. And he did a great job. It was easily one of the most rewatchable Marvel movies. Almost immediately, it became like a favorite. It wasn't enough to save the Thor trilogy, especially when they came out with that fourth one, Love and Thunder. Super rushed. It was a, hey, we can do no wrong kind of thing, and they did a lot of wrong, and it wasn't good. So Thor, sorry, you're not the best Marvel trilogy. Iron Man, you were close. You would have done it. But Civil War was so good. Winter Soldier was so good. They were so good that it doesn't really matter how kind of bland Captain America was. The second and third movies in that trilogy were so good. Now, some people are going to argue that Civil War wasn't just a Captain America movie. It was an Avengers movie. So, sorry, I'm not gonna let you make that argument. because even if it was an Avengers movie, it's still better than most of the Avengers movies. Um, Now let's talk about the Avengers movies. So yeah, I'm saying that of the early trilogies, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, I think Captain America is the best trilogy. That was a great shot. I was right on target. The Avengers movies. Avengers was super fun. Kind of hard to watch now, though. Still super fun. Age of Ultron. I didn't like it when I first saw it. It was hard to watch. It was Joss Whedon walking in saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I know. You guys have probably heard a lot about me. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can knock out another golden, whatever. I don't know. He seemed really cocky, and it was boring. Rewatching it, it gets better the more you watch it. There are more little nuggets. Hawkeye was hilarious in that. I actually quite liked Hawkeye. I liked his, the reveal of, yeah, I'm a family man. I live on a farm and I have a wife and kids, and I really liked that aspect. But yeah, that was a tough one. Then we have Infinity War, which was fun. It was crazy. It was wild. It was just bonkers, totally like just out there. And it brought in all these characters. You had Doctor Strange meets Spider-Man meets the Avenger or the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was just all over the place. And it was good. It was fun, but also it felt gimmicky, but kind of in a good way. And then everybody died at the end, and I love it when people die in the end. You know me, I like when everything gets real serious. And I liked Thanos. He might be my favorite Marvel villain because was he a villain? His motives were admirable, but his methods were deplorable. Okay. Now let's talk about Endgame. Endgame was a bit of a letdown, if we're going to be honest. Because if you're going to... One of my big issues with comic books, nothing is permanent. Nothing is forever. And it takes away some of the earnestness. You're watching, you're like, yeah, they're all dead now, but I'm sure there'll be, time travel or something, And there always is time travel. And I just, I just don't like that. Can there be some permanent loss? That's why, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, when Iron Man died and they're like, no, he's dead. And when Black Widow died and they're like, we can't bring her back. There's no way. I loved that. I liked that because it was like, you guys, this is costing us. It's not fun being a superhero. This is too much responsibility. This hurts. I like that. But do I think the Avengers trilogy is better? I think there are more facets to it. I think it's better if you want a wide variety, a wide range of events and emotions. But I don't think it's better cinematically, storytelling-wise, and all that. I still think Captain America edges it out. And I'm not even a big Captain America fan. So let's talk about Ant-Man. It is definitely not the best trilogy. Ant-Man should have gotten one movie and then been a side character. That's it. Sorry. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm sticking with it. Quantumania was garbage. Ant-Man and the Wasp was middling. Ant-Man was cute. He should not have gotten a trilogy. He shouldn't have. But let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Could have been the best, but it's that third one that really lets it down. It was a great meal right up until you told me, did you know that wasn't actual meat you ate? That kind of thing. It felt fake. It felt like, let's wrap it up. Okay, ha ha. Let's tell you all the secrets that we were sitting on this whole time. You teased Adam Warlock, and then you made him an idiot. You made him a sock puppet. He just, what was that even? And in the post-credit scene, I liked that. That part, the post-credit scene might have been my favorite part of the movie. Where you see Rocket leading, all the new Guardians. I liked. I liked that they included him. But let's be honest. What was the point of that movie? To just say they're all going their own separate ways, and then to wrap it up with Star-Lord will return. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not. He wasn't even the best part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He was embarrassing, and that was fun to watch him get embarrassed. But don't make him the forefront of anything. Don't make him the hero. And I will say this: I am glad that they decided not to have him and Gamora get back together. I thought that was a good move. But Guardians wasn't great. So the only other trilogy that I can think of off the top of my head is the Spider-Man movies. And those are so much fun. And I don't want to even compare those to the other Marvel movies because they're completely different. They're completely different entities. Captain America, those movies are so serious. There's so much personal loss involved in his story. And, he's such a noble character. He's such a Boy Scout. And, Spider-Man is just sort of a whoopsie, that's kind of the tone. And if you watch a Spider-Man movie too closely, you're going to hate it. You're just going to hate it because none of it makes sense. It's ludicrous. It really is just silly. But that's fine. That's okay. I like silly as long as they're okay being silly. So, you kind of turn away. You don't scrutinize every scene and you're going to enjoy it. Captain America, you kind of have to. And with the second two movies, you kind of get away with it. So I like Captain America on this one. Spider-Man is fun, but again, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. And you shouldn't be scrutinizing these movies, by the way. They're comic book movies. But I am who I am, and I have to scrutinize things because I have to dissect everything. I'm a storyteller, and I like to know why people do things. I explore motives. I'm a mess. It makes just living hard. What is happening? Why can I not sync this thing? So, and I don't want to talk about the newer, stuff, the Ms. Marvel, and because I haven't watched all of Ms. Marvel. I don't know. Marvel needs to focus their story. I get it. It's worldwide. They need to tackle the big problems, but I like the personal stories. That's what made Winter Soldier so good. It was a personal story. And I like Winter Soldier. I like Bucky because he's conflicted. I love a conflicted character. The Hulk, I like the Hulk because he's conflicted. Right up until he went Professor Hulk, then it was kind of weird. But I like the idea of I know what I am, I know what I'm capable of, and I don't want to hurt anybody, so I'm afraid of myself. I love that because it's so real. Anyway, you guys are amazing and wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you agree with me, and if not, we can't be friends ever. No, don't ever come to my house looking for a meal. Actually, don't, because I don't like company. But I'm kidding. Please tell me what you think. If you disagree, if you think I'm an idiot, no, keep that to yourself. My ego can't handle it. So, but I do thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. But thank you so much, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Goodbye.